All right, just a little bit of a pre-show here and just getting set up. Actually having a few technical difficulties, so that's why these pre-shows are always good. Thanks for joining on Periscope. Just in the pre-show here, getting ready to start broadcasting. And a few Barry and Cincy, thanks for joining on Periscope. I guess maybe it's my YouTube that seems to be the only issue right now. All right, 11 seconds to go. And we are live. All right, so thanks everybody for joining. And again, I'm just doing one of these quick live tests tonight because I figured some stuff out since last night. So thank you everybody who's joining in on Facebook, on YouTube. I actually don't know if my YouTube's working right now. No big deal if it's not. It doesn't seem to be. That sucks because I wanted to test something out with YouTube tonight. And a few people on Periscope here. Yeah, so, boy, I had a couple technical difficulties there right in the pre-show. The stream wasn't being sent, and thank you so much, Barry in Cincinnati. I imagine that's Barry who comes up for the bike ride in Montreal once a year. So yeah, I guess for some reason my YouTube is not receiving the stream, and that kind of sucks because I wanted to see if it would play on my website where I've embedded the YouTube Live embed code, and that was one of the issues. But let's move on, I guess, for folks who are on other platforms here like Periscope and Facebook. So, you guys, I did a show, not you, Barry. Okay, well, that's good to know. At least Barry saying on Periscope here that he's not the Barry who comes up for the bike ride in Montreal. So at least I'll know to differentiate. Chris, thanks for joining. I was doing a test earlier. I thought that it got sent to my YouTube in private. And then I noticed I was actually kind of streaming live. And the test was to do audio syncing, and that is an issue I've been having since starting these simulcasts. I couldn't figure it out, and I finally did figure it out in Open Broadcast software. To Chris saying hello to me on Periscope. Thanks so much, Chris. In Open Broadcast software, you have to set a millisecond delay between, because the sound goes too early before the webcam. And so I was talking before my mouth was moving, and I had to really play around between 2,000 milliseconds, 1,500 milliseconds, all the way down to 200 is where I seem to have got it right. And so now my mouth should be moving exactly to the beat of the sounds. And this, in all this experimenting and trying to get these live streams to work perfectly, it seems like I'm just getting one step at a time. I'm getting there better and better every single time, to the point that soon I'm going to make a joke that I'll be able to fire my assistants, but I don't have any. But yeah, and Candace German, woohoo, take it off, saying on my Facebook, and that's obviously referring to me taking. I'll take the hat off. By the way, this is a hat from Henry, made in Ireland with the regular tweed, good quality hat, very expensive, that was given to me by my uncle. And I actually have another hat here that my mom brought me from Turkey when she went to Turkey. The problem is I have a huge head and it doesn't fit. It's so small, but I like it. I like the gold. I like, do you guys think I'd look like a nice little Turkish guy with a hat like this? Um, so that's it. So it seems like I got the audio sync issue resolved. It seems like I was playing some music in the intro there, some royalty-free music from Audio Blocks. I was talking about that yesterday in my live stream, and I was worried that maybe the sound was too high and drowning my voice out, or too low. And that's Chris saying on Periscope looks good. Thank you so much. And yeah, I noticed yesterday the audio was just way too low. I think this time I got it right, just at a perfect balance. So I wanted to check one thing that I keep forgetting to do, and that's that I put a button on my website. I'm going to see if I can actually pull that up here. If I bring my website up, and I keep forgetting to test this every time I do a live stream. That hat always leaves a little mark in my forehead. So there's my website. And if we go down here, I put a Periscope button, follow and watch me live on Periscope. And this is supposed to turn red and say live anytime I'm live on Periscope. Let's refresh the page and see if that will do the trick. It's not doing the trick. And I know last time someone on Periscope said, clear your cache and stuff. And so that's not something I'm going to do while I'm live, but it's supposed to be working. It doesn't really matter that it's not, because I don't think anybody's sitting there on my website watching that little box all day long, waiting to see if it turns from blue to red. But it's just kind of one of those tools that Periscope gives you that I thought I would, that I'd put in place. Go into my Facebook there. So yeah, I wanted to test that out. So again, thanks for everybody joining me in on Facebook, my profile and my page, and anybody joining me in on Periscope. And obviously for some reason, I'm not getting YouTube functioning tonight. I screwed up somewhere, probably because I was doing my tests earlier and I didn't reset the live stream code or something like that. I'm going to talk quickly about thumbnails. When you do these live streams, they go to YouTube, and then the video processes, and it processes, and it processes, depending on the length of your live stream. And then, like any YouTube video, you can choose from 3 kind of screenshots that they take, and they're not always the best. Sometimes your eyes are closed, sometimes you have funny faces, and you can upload a custom thumbnail. And it's the same thing for the Facebook page. You can edit the settings for the live video, and actually the profile as well. You can edit the settings for the thumbnail, and you can choose from 10 screenshots that Facebook takes. The only difference between the profile and the page is that on the page you can upload a custom thumbnail, kind of like YouTube. You cannot do that on the profile. And so the profile, you're stuck with these 10 kind of images, and they're not always the best, like I say. But that leads me to a big question: is for YouTube and my Facebook page, should I be putting a custom thumbnail up for every single live video that I do? And if that is the case, what do you put as a thumbnail? I mean, if you're making videos for YouTube, for example, on a specific subject, and it's not a live video, and you do a video, for example, on how to use a drone, well, you can make a thumbnail with a picture of a drone and you with a remote control flying it, maybe going like this because you just crashed it or something. You can make thumbnails that are specific to the subject, but how do you make a thumbnail for a live video? So that's a big question and something I'm going to have to work on. What do I always do in my live stream, guys? Twitter polls. I need a little bit of an intro song here for my Twitter polls. Da-da-da-da-da-da, Twitter polls. So let me bring in my Twitter page here. There we go. Jade Sambrook on Twitter. As I always say, follow me on Twitter at Jade Sambrook. You can see if I move my head out of the way. So yesterday, drum rolls, as Chris says on Periscope. Thanks so much, Chris. Yeah, some type of theme song, so yesterday the 2 questions were, and it's actually 53 minutes left in both of these polls, but I highly doubt anybody's going to answer them in the next 53 minutes. So, the first one was, have you ever spent Christmas alone? And so far, out of 18 votes, 44% have said yes, and 56% have said no. So it's almost split along the middle there, but obviously the majority is that they have not spent Christmas alone. And what is your favorite smartphone editing app? And I had put Facetune, Filterra, Color Story, and Adobe products. Only 6 votes on that poll, and the majority going to the Adobe products. So Adobe Mix, Adobe Fix, Adobe Express. Hey, Mandel81 joining in on Periscope here. How are you and where are you from? By the way, everybody, I'm broadcasting from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And, last year the letter carrier was wearing shorts in Montreal on Christmas Eve because they deliver mail on Christmas Eve here, and it fell on a work day. And so they were wearing shorts, kind of like you see in Vancouver on the West Coast. You would never see that in Montreal. Now, today things warmed up, was about 2 degrees outside. I don't think the letter carrier is wearing shorts though, but last year was pretty surprising. Again, Adobe products winning here, and then Facetune and Color Story both got an equal share of the vote, and Filterra 0. Somebody did write to me on my Twitter to say that they use InLight, and that's an ad I keep seeing in Instagram, and I have not downloaded that one or tried it yet, but maybe let me know in the comments below here if you use any specific photo editing apps. Chris here saying on Periscope, I didn't vote as I built in photo editing in camera or Google Photo app. Because you're using Android, if I'm not mistaken, as a phone. You're using a Samsung, so that's why you're probably using specific products to that. I like to try them all. I like to use them all. New poll question tonight, since I'm drinking coffee as usual to keep me going here, and Chris confirming that yes, he is using the Android, the Samsung. What is the best coffee for a Keurig machine? And so far, and I put as choices Timothy's, Starbucks, McDonald's, or other. And other would be kind of like Van Hoot, or I don't know, there's that donut company or whatever. Beautiful 7, welcome to my Periscope. I'm simulcasting to my Facebook. Usually I would say my YouTube, it's not working for some reason tonight, and to Periscope at the same time. So I put the poll up on coffee, and I already have 2 votes. I find that on Twitter or anywhere, anytime you talk about coffee, it generates a lot of interest. There seems to be a lot of passionate people out there for coffee. I don't know, if I did a poll on cocaine, for example, what is the best thing to cut your cocaine with? Speed, baby powder, Tide detergent. I don't think people would be answering as quickly as they do with coffee. People really seem to love their coffee. Yeah, thanks for laughing, Chris. Chris laughing on Periscope because, it's a joke, guys. It's a joke. I'm only assuming that that's what people cut cocaine with. The baby powder. Bad stuff, bad stuff. So that's it. Feel free to answer the poll on my Twitter at Jade Sambrook, and those are the polls for tonight. Talking about coffee, I always go to McDonald's for my coffee every single day. Get a large coffee and a free refill. And how can I say this without offending anybody? There were some, I guess I'll say there were some Arabs in McDonald's, some students, and some Muslim kids. And one thing that is a pet peeve of mine is that, Keaton, thanks for joining, is that they seem, and this will probably only be understandable to those who speak French, but there's a saying that they keep repeating, and it's "je te jure," which means "I'm telling you." And it seems to get repeated like 50 times in one sentence. Je te jure, je te jure, je te jure, je te jure. And so this girl, this young, I guess the girlfriend of the guy or whatever, said, Walid, will you stop saying je te jure? And I looked up at her and I laughed and I gave her a thumbs up because it's my pet peeve hearing that just so, repeated so often in one sentence. And she said, she looked at me and she said, thanks for the support, mister. Have a good day. Of course, mister, because I'm old, right? Other pet peeves. What are your pet peeves? Leave them in the comments below. I'd like to know what your pet peeves are. That's not a Twitter poll that I've put up tonight. I think probably some of my other pet peeves are common ones, like people who are at a red light and don't have their blinker on, and the minute the light turns green, they put their blinker on and they're all of a sudden turning, and it's like, had you known before, you could have got in the other lane. Another pet peeve I have recently is girls who can continuously mention their boyfriend in a conversation. So my boyfriend and my boyfriend and my boyfriend. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I kind of like je te jure. Like, you don't have to say my boyfriend 60 times in one sentence. You have a boyfriend. Great accomplishment. Bravo. We will bestow you the Nobel Peace Prize for the best accomplishment on earth. Wow, you have a boyfriend. You go, girl. That's amazing. I'm so impressed. Your boyfriend, like, it's just ridiculous. Sorry, I'm getting off on a rant and a tangent here. I want to talk about these little pins. I don't know if I can get that close to the camera there. I used to work for the NDP, the New Democratic Party of Canada. I was at Jack Layton's Everyone Gets the Same Award. Well, see, when I have a girlfriend, you don't hear me say in a sentence, my girlfriend and my girlfriend and my girlfriend. You actually won't even hear me say my girlfriend because, I keep it secret. So I was at the state funeral for Jack Layton. For those of you who may be tuning in from the United States or elsewhere, Jack Layton was a political leader here in Canada, and he died from cancer, unfortunately, at the age of 61. So he did receive a state funeral because he was the leader of the official opposition. And so I was at the state funeral, and one of the commissioners, which is equivalent to the lieutenant governor of a province, one of the commissioners for a territory in the north, asked if I could deliver a letter to Jack's wife, Olivia Chow. And of course I took the letter and I said I would. And he said, thank you so much for delivering the letter for me. I'm going to give you a pin of our territory. And again, for those who are from elsewhere, a territory would be equal to a state. Here we have provinces and 3 territories. So he gave me a pin. But the commissioners for the other 2 territories were next to him, and they said, well, if he's going to give you a pin from his territory, we're going to give you a pin from our territory. So I actually ended up with these 3 pins, given to me by the commissioners of the states, or the territories in the north of Canada, and that's something you might, it was definitely very nice, and a nice life story, a nice anecdote, and definitely, maybe you'll hear me say that many times in a sentence. My pins, my pins, my pins. Getting old and getting old when you start complaining about stuff like that. So guys, I'm getting on. Again, this is a quick, as I always say, it's a quick test because I want to make sure the audio is in sync. And I'm going to check if I have any comments. Obviously, Chris, always there. Thank you so much. And on Facebook, we seem to be doing okay. The title, I think, of this live stream is What Color Logo Should I Use? And I'm going to bring those up in a second. But before I do, I'm going to talk about friend losses on social media. I have certain apps that tell me when somebody has unfollowed me, for example, on Instagram, for example, on Twitter. Now, Facebook, there is no such app, but what I do is I export the data from Facebook, and I take the friends list, I copy that into a spreadsheet, and then every so often I will just do that column by column, and I'll compare the columns, and then I'll see who has unfriended me. A lot of people say, well, why do you care? I like to manage, if you unfriend me randomly for no reason, it's unacceptable to me. I don't just wake up one morning and go, I think I'm going to unfriend Chris today. Unless there's a reason. And of course, if I put a photo of myself naked on Facebook and I see someone's unfriended me, I'm going to say, okay, I just put a naked photo on Facebook. They probably didn't like it. They're offended. That's understandable. But if I haven't posted anything to Facebook in 6 days and then all of a sudden you just randomly unfriend me one morning, no, that's not acceptable. What's been happening on Instagram is that I'll have people follow me, and there's those folks out there who they follow you, so you follow them back, and then they unfollow you so that their numbers of followers are much higher, and then they get some social media credibility. That I have no tolerance for. But what I've been finding lately is certain people will follow me, and eventually I'll like their photos. I'll like a photo here, I'll like a photo there. So I'm liking their photos, and then they'll unfollow me because I liked their photo. Like, seriously. Like, I liked your photo. Wasn't that the goal of Instagram? Like, what? You wanted to put the photo there and get no likes? Like, oh my God, he liked my photo. I better unfollow him. How dare he like my photo? Like, are people that ridiculous? So anyways, I have an app that tells me if you've unfollowed me, and if you unfollow me, I unfollow you back. And if you're in my other social media, then I block you and unfollow you there too. So you unfollow me on Instagram and you're in my Facebook, well, you're gone from my Facebook. That's my social media policy. Sorry, but I'm just getting annoyed by these people on social media who just unfollow randomly for no reason, and it just, I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep using social media, but I think Chris saying bizarre. I'm gonna keep using it, but sometimes it discourages me, and sometimes and it's the same thing actually for these live streams. It seems that every time I do a live on Facebook, I lose a friend on Facebook. Instead of the person just deciding not to watch the live stream, or maybe deciding to learn how to go into the notification settings and turn off notifications for the live stream so they don't even get notified. No, they figure, hey, I'll unfriend them. Like, I'm sorry. Loser. Because at least I'm the one learning how to live stream, and like they say, 2017 is going to be huge by Facebook, and like Instagram now coming out with Instagram Live and Periscope. Like, everybody's going live. If you can't handle it, maybe you shouldn't be on social media. So like I say, loser. Sorry, but yeah, just my pre-Christmas rant here, guys. Okay, I'm going to read because, Christmas holidays are a great time to pull out a book. And, of course, I found this in my library. Why did I even buy this? Ronald Reagan Diaries. And I'm going to read his entry from December 23rd, which is today, if you're in North America or the United States. December 23rd, 1989, which was the last few months of his presidency. So I'm kind of comparing that to, Obama in the last throes of his presidency. So Reagan says, and it's really just, it's actually in italics because he didn't, I agree 2017 will be a big year for live, Chris saying. Yeah, and people are going to have to get used to it. It's going to get I was watching a video today that shows that pretty much everybody is going to be getting access to the Facebook Mentions app, which is currently only available for superstars and public figures. And this Mentions app is going to be totally revamping the way we do live. You're going to be able to flip the screen horizontal, vertical. So if you're showing a book like this, the title will be the right way. And I know Indy Natris just joined my Periscope. How are you doing there? And I hope the weather is good where you are. So Reagan wrote on the 23rd, and it's not a full entry, so I guess it was just kind of one of these busy days where he had a quick moment. He said, taped radio cast for Saturday, many more photos, dinner party for friends in White House residence concluded. Then to bed and watched my interview with David Brinkley. Okay, I guess, he says. So he watched his own interviews, kind of like I watch my live streams after to see how I did. And he says, made a statement to the press regarding the Pan Am tragedy. So I was too young to recall the Pan Am tragedy of 1989. He flew to LA, went to his new home in Bel Air. Indy Natris on Periscope saying, thanks, he's doing okay there. That is awesome to hear. So Reagan went to his new home in Bel Air, and apparently Nancy Reagan was worried all the way that he would not like the new home. But Ronald Reagan says it's beautiful. He got to work hanging pictures and unpacking boxes. So that is an entry from December 23rd, 1989 by former President Ronald Reagan. And I guess one thing that I'm really sad about is President Barack Obama's term ending. It just goes so quick, 8 years. How does Barack Obama feel? I know, maybe leave in the comments what you think about this, because I know Michelle Obama has said, their time's up. I think she's anxious to move on. Zamborg here saying, it's red yes on my computer, by the way. Oh, did Zam check my website for me? And he's letting me know that my Periscope button is working on my website. So I think, Zam, that is very nice of you if you went ahead and did that. And I don't know if you're still there, but I apologize to folks if I'm not. I'm having a hard time keeping up with the comments because, again, I am simulcasting to Facebook and Periscope. Maybe I'm having an easier time than usual because I'm not doing YouTube tonight for technical reasons. So yeah, how does President Barack Obama feel, or any president for that matter? And I know Michelle Obama said they're ready to move on and get back to private life and stuff. You know how much a president's hair goes gray in 8 years, how much they age quick. It must be nice. Obama's made a joke that he's going to sleep in for 2 weeks, but how does it feel to lose all that power? To one day you're flying around on Air Force One, you're flying around on Marine One, you live in the White House, you are the president of the United States, you have the nuclear codes, and then all of a sudden at noon on January 20th or January 21st or whatever the inauguration date is there, all of a sudden you're no longer president of the United States. You are a former president, you know, how does that feel? I wonder. I've always wondered. I'll never know because I can't be president because I'm a Canadian citizen. But my handle for Instagram and Snapchat is President Jade. That's about as close as I can get to being president. And feel free to follow me on those social networks as well. So I've pretty much done everything or talked about everything I want to talk about. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to quickly show you guys my logo choices. So let's bring those in. Actually, even before I show the logo choices, I'm going to pull this up on the screen. Have you guys seen this? Why did I not think about inventing that ages ago? Like, what the... Do I have that censor beep button? What the beep? Relieved. Indy Natris saying, relieved. I'm sure the Obamas are ready to step back. We haven't heard much about next steps. I know they're going to be staying in Washington because their youngest daughter will be finishing high school there. Yeah, I really liked President Obama. And you know what? And I know some people watching don't like politicians and stuff. And, you know, I think Justin Trudeau obviously could improve. He's a typical liberal. Justin Trudeau, the Prime Minister of Canada, is a typical liberal. Like, the Liberals often make promises that they don't respect and whatnot. But I got to say, compared to Stephen Harper, you know, people are saying, I was reading some comment boards the other day, people were saying, well, Justin Trudeau is all style and no substance. And I kind of did a checklist on the forum there, and I said, well, you know, opening the Kitsilano Coast Guard Station, reopening that Coast Guard station that Stephen Harper had shut down, and that was the busiest Coast Guard, or is the busiest Coast Guard station in the country. And Stephen Harper shut it down to save a measly $900,000, and then went and spent money on ceremonies for the War of 1812 that nobody even knows or cares about, or the Queen's Jubilee and stuff like that. So the first thing Justin Trudeau did was to open that Coast Guard station, and I think that's great of him. Reopening the 8 Veterans Affairs offices in Nova Scotia that Stephen Harper had shut down, you know, so that our veterans can be respected and served the way they deserve to be. You know, they fought for our freedom, and they served our country well, and they deserve all our respect. So, you know, that's one thing. You know, the list goes on and on and on. And yeah, I mean, obviously not everybody's going to be happy about decisions on pipelines and whatnot. I actually personally find it's a balanced approach. You look at banning oil tanker traffic in the fragile northern BC coast. That is very important. And I know Aboriginal communities were calling for that banning of oil tanker traffic there, because one oil spill in that fragile ecosystem, and that's just a tragedy. That's you know, so Justin Trudeau went ahead with that. So I think I guess not everybody will agree with me or agree with him, but I think for anybody to say that he's all style and no substance, I think they're lacking a basic education. And why was I talking about Justin Trudeau? I totally forget. I guess maybe because I was saying I thought Obama did a lot of good. And the same thing there. He didn't get to do everything he wanted to do, but, and, you know, obviously because of a Republican-controlled Congress and whatnot, but he got to do a lot of, you know, compared to, here we, you know, people saying that, Obama destroyed, I'm reading on forums, Obama destroyed the United States. Well, I'm sorry. When he took office, George Bush had, the country was on the verge of bankruptcy. It was the largest kind of like home foreclosures, and banks were closing and going out of business, and it was a mess. Unemployment was at 10%. It's now at 4%. So don't tell me Obama ruined the country. I'm sorry. Again, you may disagree with certain things he's done. He may not be perfect, but don't tell me he's destroyed the country. Just like don't tell me Justin Trudeau is all style and no substance and that he's only about taking selfies. That's just not true. Yeah, he takes a lot of selfies, but that's not the only thing he does. So, I'm getting off on another tangent here. My old man rants. My logos. Oh no, sorry. This beard thing here. Isn't that great? You stick two ends on your mirror, and then it kind of acts as a netting to catch all your beard trimmings. Looks a bit ridiculous, but it's actually a great idea to avoid tiny hairs all over the sink. Not only all over the sink, those hairs go in the sink, and then they block the sink, and then you have to get that Drano shit and ask me, and I'm really happy that I don't have to shave as much as I used to in terms of when I didn't have a beard, but it seems like I've replaced shaving the beard with now I have to shave my head. And I actually like this style of being bald. I have, they say a guy who can be without his hair is a guy with confidence. If you can live without your hair, which fine. I'm confident without my hair, but sometimes, and it's only happened recently, I've started to be a little nostalgic about my hair. I've started to be I started missing it. I started saying, I used to have hair. Oh my God. What does that feel like? So anyways, I think, and this is one of these things I'm putting up on the screen because bald brethren Chris saying on Periscope, Indie Naturist, honestly, there's just these, I always say everything's been done. I mean, what could I think of? What could I invent? Everything's already been invented. And then, lo and behold, someone comes out with something and it's just like, why didn't I think of that? Because, sell 1 million of those for $10 and that's 10 million bucks. They probably sell them for more than $10 and they're probably going to sell more than 1 million. So on to my logo choices. So I'm going to bring up the first one here. Kabang, JS Media. Now this is what I was always using actually on all my YouTube videos was the watermark JS Media, and it stood for Jade Sambrook Media, but people don't know that, so they're just like, hey, JS Media. Do you have a head blade? Speaking of inventions, no, I mean, I just use the regular Gillette Mach 4 shaver. I don't use a single blade, kind of like the old cowboy in the edge of the river with his horse waiting nearby. I should though. So this logo, JS Media, Jade Sambrook Media, and then people don't really know how to make the association, and they just say, hey, it's JS Media instead of Jade Sambrook. So there's that. Then I started kind of, saying, well, if I'm JS Media, I need a website, jsmedia.com. No, that's already taken. Then I realized JS Media, there was a guy running a company in Ontario, a wedding photography company, and he was basically frauding people and not delivering their photos, taking the money, got a bunch of complaints against him at the Better Business Bureau. The name of his company was JS Media & Co. So that's not something I want to be associated with. So I decided, or I kind of started thinking, well, what is my brand? What is my personal brand? And it's Jade Sambrook. My YouTube channel is Jade Sambrook. My Twitter is Jade Sambrook. My Facebook is Jade Sambrook. So I went ahead and switched the logo to JS. Simple JS. That will be kind of the watermark in the bottom of my YouTube videos. It stands for Jade Sambrook. It's my initials. Now, I started thinking and talking with friends, like, why am I using this film frame? I think because, it represents film, it represents photography. The container that the JS in, it represents a container of content, so content creation. I like the idea. I was kind of wondering maybe I should do one of those clapper boards, because that's the emoji that I always use when they say, you need to own an emoji so that people, when they see that emoji, will think of you. So that's the clapper board, like cut. That's the one I always use. So I was thinking maybe I could use a clapper board for my logo. But a clapper board is not all encompassing. A clapper board is only really for film, whereas this kind of film frame works for film, photo, and everything else, like I was saying. It even almost looks like a TV screen. The rectangle where the JS is, could be a TV screen. So you name it. It's very, very good for being open to interpretation. The thing is, though, is like my previous logo, it's all gold, as you can see here, because I love gold. Why gold? Because I love it. I think gold attracts richness into your life. It's bling. It's my favorite color. And that you could read articles on, why companies choose certain colors. Red means you're fierce, and blue means you're calm and steady, and all these, I don't even know what gold means. All I know is that it's the color that I like, and that's why I chose it. But I kind of went with a variation here. And hey, Big Money Fishing, thanks for joining my Periscope. This is the variation. I know it's harder to see because it's kind of like black on black, but the film frame in this case is black and the JS initials are gold. So those are the two choices, because obviously I'm getting rid of them. If we go back to the very, very first one, I'm basically just getting rid of the media in the title there. And I'm going with a simple JS, either black and gold, or either all gold. What do you guys think? Black and gold or all gold? Let me know in the comments below. Let me know on Periscope. Let me know on Facebook what you guys think. And maybe that's another opportunity for a Twitter poll. Lucknums5 joining my Periscope. Hello, Lucknums. Where are you from? Again, I'm broadcasting from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, and I'm simulcasting to my Facebook and my Periscope at the same time. What about fade towards top? In terms of the black and gold one, Indie Natris, you mean fade the color, or are you actually referring to the gold one at the moment? That is, it's fading a little bit, because I did use a kind of a foil overlay, so it's kind of textured, and it does go from darker to lighter from one corner to the next. I guess that's probably what you're referring to. I like black and gold. Chris mentioning on Periscope, thank you so much for your input and your feedback. And I've run it through a few friends, and the thing I'm finding is that the guys have all answered black and gold, and the girls have all answered all gold. So there seems to be a gender divide on the color of my logo. Maybe if I'm wanting to attract girls to my brand, then I'll just send out the all gold one. And if I want to attract guys, then I will send out the black, and so depending on what I'm doing. I'm going, before I end this live stream, I'm going to remind people who may just be joining that I do have a Twitter poll up tonight, and you can go to my Twitter page if I can locate that somewhere in here. Yes, there it is. Jade Sambrook is the name, and I do have a poll tonight. It looks like the votes went up here. Indie Natris, seems to lose attention bottom to top, maybe reverse fade. That is amazing, because Indie Natris mentioning that the focal point, or the attention, the way it's brought from the color fade should maybe be reversed. Or I appreciate that feedback. I am in no way a professional logo designer. I did kind of debate getting someone on Fiverr or one of these sites to design my logo, but I thought save a few bucks and do it myself. But that is excellent feedback, Indie Natris. I'm taking that into account. I really, really appreciate it. The Twitter poll, you guys, what is the best coffee for a Keurig machine? And obviously that's specific to those who use a Keurig machine. And I've got Timothy's, Starbucks, McDonald's, or other. And so far, out of the 4 votes, out of the 4 people who voted, it's split evenly among the 4 choices. So 25% for each. Feel free to go answer that Twitter poll again at my website, Jade Sambrook. Feel free to leave me any comments below, either on Facebook, Maryf Bujji, actually, I missed this one. Sorry, Maryf. Je sais pas si tu regardes encore. C'est une femme sûrement qui l'a inventé. Elle devait être tannée que le lavabo bloque. So, Maryf, one of my francophone friends from Quebec, Canada, here mentioning that it's a woman who invented the beard catcher. I don't know if that's the right term for it, the beard catcher. Let me just bring that back up. Kind of sounds like the dog whisperer, the beard whisperer. She says it's a woman who invented it because she was sick of having to clean up the sink after the guy, right? Because yeah, most guys would probably just leave the hair in the sink and I'm done shaving. Have a nice day. Again, I use tons of Drano to unblock that sink. Damn it. So that's it. I think I've gone over my entire list. I do want to of things I wanted to talk to tonight. And again, this was I did a live yesterday. I wished everybody a Merry Christmas, a happy holiday. Don't drink and drive. Be safe. All that extra stuff. And so the plan was not necessarily to do a live tonight, but again, the goal in this test was really to get the voice to be in sync with the sound to be in sync with the movement of my mouth. I think I've accomplished that. I had Zam confirm on Facebook that the button was red on my website for being live. So that is another thing I wanted to test. And so that's good. I did want to test whether my live stream was playing on my website, and it's not because that's YouTube. And for some reason, I was not able to connect to YouTube tonight. And I'm going to mention this in closing because I was mentioning my logo between guys and girls and stuff. Speaking of guy things, I am going to test out gaming on YouTube in the sense of I only play 2 games at home right now on my computer. Another question for you guys. What computer games do you play? Leave it in the comments below and I'll put up a Twitter poll very quickly. I'm going to... I play Battlefield 4 once in a while, not very often, and I play Grand Theft Auto 5. And Grand Theft Auto 5 is one of these things that I just never finished. You know, I bought it, installed it, played it a bit, and then just never, kind of forgot about it. But I do want to try streaming my game, kind of like the PewDiePies and all these gamers on YouTube who seem to be having success when gaming live streaming. I want to see how it works. I want to test it out. I want to see, sorry, a comment coming in on Periscope here that I don't want to miss. Okay, Chris saying that he plays, Chris on Periscope saying he plays Grand Theft Auto 5 on Xbox. Interesting. And that's the thing. I like to play on my PC because I find the controls on the keyboard, it gives you a lot more options than being limited to, why do I forget the word? A controller stick or I guess it boils down to personal preference. But I would like to try live streaming just for the heck of trying it. And I know from what I can read, all these gamers, they live stream on Twitch, they live stream on YouTube, and they're all about live streaming at 60 frames per second or 30 frames per second or whatever it is. And so, I'm probably going to be going through a whole series of tests now to, guys, test number 962. It's not working for 60 frames per second. I got to get it to work. So I want to say thanks again to everybody who's been there through all these tests to getting this to be as good as I want it to be. And I think I'm pretty much there. I'm at 95%. And I think I'm so far along that's why I wore a tie tonight, a red tie, obviously for Christmas. Where did put my Scottish Irish tweed hat back on, just like when I began. Goes great with the kilt. So that's it, you guys. I'm going to say what I said last night, aside from thanking everybody for watching tonight. Thank you for everybody for being there. What's left to test all seems good from our perspective. Yeah, all that's left to test now is the YouTube streaming on my webpage, which I was, but that's going to be something I can check quickly when I actually do. So yeah, with the audio working and everything now, I think I can move on to actually, like I've said before, scheduling a show at a regular interval and just coming up with some interesting content to have regular viewers coming back and interacting. And it's definitely something I enjoy. The more practice I get, the better I'll get at monitoring comments, because I know sometimes I blab on and then I realize, 10 minutes ago someone left a comment on Facebook and I didn't answer them and maybe they're not there anymore. So Maryf Bujji is another example here, who had commented on the woman inventing the beard catcher and now saying Merry Christmas to me. So Merry Christmas to you, Maryf. Si t'es encore là, je t'aime fort. I know she's in a region of Quebec where it's probably a lot colder than it is in Montreal. There's probably a lot more snow there than there is here. So yes, Merry Christmas and all. So that's it, you guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'm going to say it like I said last night. Have a very, very, very Merry Christmas. And I won't say Happy New Year because if you had a way to merge comments into one screen, that'd be easier. You're absolutely right, Chris. And one of the groups I follow on Facebook who are all about live streaming pros, if you guys want to follow them, they're great for teaching you everything about live streaming. They've mentioned the same thing, but they say that it's only going to be it's something that will be available eventually. It's not available yet for merging all the comments. So yeah, you guys, and I think that has to do with APIs for each social network. And for example, in this program that I'm using to simulcast, you can have the YouTube comments come in apparently, but you can't have the Facebook comments come in. So, there's work to be done. I guess I'll say Happy New Year's in case some of you who are watching, you don't watch but my next live stream before New Year's, but I'll definitely be live streaming before then, so I will repeat it then. Happy New Year's. And Frederick, thanks for joining the tail end of my Periscope here. Frederick joining my Periscope. And so that's it, you guys. Be merry, eat well, drink well, have a lot of fun, even if, you're with the annoying in-laws. And, like I always say, don't drink and drive, be safe, stay alive. And we'll see you guys all at the very, very next live stream by Jade Sambrook. This is Jade Sambrook for Jade Sambrook Live signing out. All right. Adios.